I'm good. Well, hello everyone. Sorry, just had a visitor come up just as we were setting up there. So yeah, welcome to our second live stream here at Enterkin Media. Today we are, for a short period of time, at the A1 diner in Colsterworth, Lincolnshire. Just off the A1. If you're a truck driver in the UK, chances are you're probably aware of it, but nevertheless worth a visit. There we are, Mr. Trustwell, off on his travels, possibly back to Yorkshire, get back home, but obviously being live, again we don't know what's going to come along. Seem to have a bit of a levelling issue on the tripod. It's possibly rectified it. But yeah, a little bit of background on the where we are. The A1 diner truck stop, which is parked over there. This isn't certainly not its best side. I'll show you some footage of it later. It's all a matter of opinion, but for me, it's one of the best in the country. Off the top of my head, I think it's probably one of the best, certainly locally, although we have a few. But again, just for anyone that hasn't been, or is interested, that building there obviously is the truck wash. Just seen a couple of vehicles come out of it earlier, so it's in full operation. You see a lot of truck stops about, but they're all wrecked or not operable for whatever reason. Anyway, this one's fully operation, and from the vehicles I've seen come out of it, it does a good job. One example, Anna Field's Iveco there just took a run through, and she's just drip drying at the minute. Looking well, so they do a good job. I've got no idea in cost or anything, but certainly not affiliated to them. But an honest opinion would be, if you're passing by and you need to throw some soap and water at your truck, it would be a bad idea popping in here. It's a snap site, so your night parking can all be done on Snap account. I don't know whether they book in advance, wouldn't know, but certainly Snap. It's fenced off. I see a lot of cameras about. Parked here myself without any issues. Wouldn't hesitate to park again, to be honest. Food in the cafe, takeaway, is excellent. We just had breakfast in there. And as always, we weren't let down. Is an interesting truck. So, Tunnel Tech. Not quite sure what they do. But that configuration you would see an awful lot of over here. Got the UK and Key Fuels pumps here. Obviously add blue and diesel, and it's been fairly steady for the last hour and a half that we've been here. VLT, or I think it used to be Vernon Land Transport possibly. Someone could maybe confirm or deny. Driver's clearly focused on finding that spot that he's looking for. McGregor Logistics from Doncaster. Just up in there to let our friend from Bacton's in his Mercedes. See, being a Friday, I wasn't too sure how much traffic would be going about. Obviously it's foot down Friday. Everyone wants to get home to their families, friends, back home for weekends away, or Friday night get together at the pub, whatever. Operators are looking to get the trucks back for servicing or for the nightmen or weekend runs, whatever. So you never quite know what you're getting on a Friday shift. But I think as it seems to be going with different shift rotas of 4 on and 4 off and whatever else we've got now, I'm not sure it matters that much now. Brocklesby's MEN. Coming out, and we've also got Brockley's MEN department. So Fen Windows possibly not. He's done the honourable thing. Good man, good man. So this is a truck I saw earlier. Mr. Barr does, and I like the look of that one for a Renault, the big TI car. Full winter spec, as we say. I'm sure as soon as he gets back to the yard, he'll be getting a hose down for the weekend, and packed up ready for the next week. Uni Surge has been through the wash. There we are. Delivering medical excellence. It's a new fleet on me, that one. Never seen them before. There we are. Of course, I'm not quite sure how it all works now, but I think the NHS have logistics centres now, pretty much the same as everyone else. So Turners. .40-foot container on. Say Turners, McIntyre scale, which of course I think was bought out by Turners. TES coming in. Mercedes. Again on a container load. This time it's a splitter trailer. Two 20-foot containers on the back of that. And Mercedes of Devro heading off. Not sure which way, but probably back up to the northeast of England, I should imagine, on a Friday, but he could be heading south. Plain white Scania, which is so common with so many container subbies. Looks to be hauling for Gold Star or Turners as they are now. Static caravan loads coming in from Hanson's here. Do generally try to see them, don't try to see them, but you generally do see them in pairs for whatever reason. I don't know whether they just decide that it's safer in numbers or not, but everyone seems to be coming in. I always believed that was the exit, but yeah, JBS, Scania. And just to back up that theory, this could well be the case. Right, there's the third Hanson and the pilot van behind it. Much better reception off that guy. He got it, and for me, he would appear to be going in the way I've always gone in, but each to their own. There's Dungates from Morpeth, Northumberland, and we maybe just got a glimpse of some heavy haulage coming in. There we are. That is a lump in anybody's eyes. That's a big old truck. The old truck, and it's probably not even feeling that behind it, to be honest. And a big Scania V8 with the side skirts on there, again sporting the full winter spec. Seems to be my latest phrase, that, since I heard it. Quite like it. Anyway, he's found his space. There we are, arm out the window, and in she goes. That's the way to do it. There we are. Harbour Forest Products, and behind them Brett's Transport, Wisbeach, or Guyver, yeah, Wisbeach. Been going a few years, Brett's. Did a few loads for them in the past. It was good work, enjoyed it. We're nice company to work for, to deal with. Easy loading. It's all good. It's all good. I think, I forget what year it was, but I think Ken Thomas was still in operation then. He's an old friend. Ewan Brothers at Dungannon. Northern Ireland. Their outfit been going a long time, and there's a bit of tang there, as we say. Can't see the badge. I'd down in the door there actually. I'd say it's a V8 by the sound of it. 650 I'd say. Yeah. Super 650 she says. And it is super. Looks the part. Fair play to the driver. And the operator as well, to be fair. Certainly eye-catching livery, and I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I've always thought if you have a fleet and they look as if they're looking after their truck, they might just look after your load. Nothing's certain in this world, but as I say, it certainly looks the part, doesn't it? Like JBS, threw her back in there, no fuss, easy as you like. Easy as you like. Looks a little bit dark through the monitor. Hopefully the video's good enough for everyone. We're now obviously getting towards the tail end of January, almost into a short month of February. But hopefully as we get into February the nights will start to lengthen and the lighting improves. The FDS subby there, I think it said senior transport possibly. DFDS, so big huge company now though. I think from memory they just acquired McBurney. I must be honest, I get DSV and DFDS mixed up. There's WS has been through the truck wash, obviously doing some traction for Paynes down at Wybuston, further down the A1. James Wilby, Dewsbury. I think that's a revised livery as well nowadays. Another one that's turned to the white and coloured graphics. I'm fairly sure some of the earlier photographs I have of maybe they were a dark blue, possibly a dark blue with white writing. But it's a sign of the times. A lot of hauliers turn into the white cabs, throwing some graphics on, and then when it comes to renewal they just pull the graphics off and they've got a plain white cab, which appears to be more attractive to sell. So I understand it, I get it. And let's be fair, there's still some decent looking white liveries about. So anybody that's watching live or watches afterwards, be interested to hear where you're watching it from, whether you're UK based, overseas, whether you're in the industry, trucking, driving, planning, an enthusiast. Yeah. Drop us a message. It's good to have a bit of interaction. I think anyone who shoots video or any sort of contact wants to know that it's being watched. Now here's something you don't see every day. ERF ECT, and she's hardly gone into retirement because she's probably got one of the heaviest loads that we're seeing today, other than the low loaders. It just shows that you know, there's loads of good Euro 4, Euro 5 trucks that were all discarded in the name of emissions and everything else for the environment. None of us want to see the trees die and the world burn up, but you know, to point the finger of blame at the exhausts of commercial trucks. Yeah. Let's just say it's probably need to be looking elsewhere before. Brickley's MEN. Trailer there supporting Derbyshire, supporting a local ambulance. See quite a lot of fleets supporting good causes like that, so fair play. It's possibly something that doesn't get mentioned often enough. It's all the charitable work that a lot of fleets do, a lot of drivers do. Noticed something online through the week. Some drivers, I think possibly waiting Colsterworth. Could be mistaken, but I think I saw they were going to be climbing up some peaks or mountains to raise money. So. It's not a truck, but it probably got a V8 in it. Sounds lovely. Very nice. Sainsbury's truck off towards probably Bourne, I would think. Anyway, we get another look at this ECT for the minute. An 05 plate, 2005, so 18-year-old, still earning her keep, and no idea what weight's on it. She's not running light. Fair play. So there still are a few out and about. Very, very lucky to try and catch them now, but a lot of guys, a lot of drivers now would never have driven one. I would say the chances are working in the world of timber. It's probably a manual gearbox in it. I'm not sure what boxes the ECT's had in them. It's probably manual for off-road. And of course now most manufacturers, the thought of a manual gearbox, they would do everything to discourage you from ordering one, to the extent that you pay a hefty premium for one now. But there you are. We've got a 7.5 tonner there from Linden Plant. He's had his breakfast and gone. As this chap in the S-Ray. There's our turner's man there with the fuel tanker. He was parked round the back, you maybe saw a couple of glimpses of him. I think he's actually done the delivery for the fuel tanks. It's always handy when you can do a delivery and pop in and get your breakfast at the same time. It's always a winner, that one. Here's our Renault from Mr. Kidwell. That's a fairly substantial headboard. Concrete lump there. Presumably a reason for that. Not quite sure what it is. Answers on a postcard. And here we are. Wilson's, I think that is an 8x4 configuration, I think they'd call that. Off to some building project or a quarry or something. One of the Volvos with the low cabs. Or the FH with the low cab anyway. I suppose you still get the FM cab, don't you? The low roof rather than the low cab. Followed by the Mercedes Gigaspace. It's obviously travelling light, lifting axles up. Things have quietened down a little bit here for the minute, so what we may do is just gently try and change location for a second and just watch this RBF DAF go out. What I'm thinking is, while things have quieted for a little bit, you often hear containers twist like that because the containers are basically on a slider. There's a lot of movement, and when you have a bit of weight on the trailers, a bit of movement, things, you often hear that bang, and the first few days, weeks, hours you drive them and it happens, it can be a tense moment, but once you learn that everything's okay and it's just the trailer doing what the trailer should do, it's all good. There's our Romanian friend with a French gaff on his way. So what we'll do is I'm just gonna gently try and been here before, and so if you just bear with me, and just a little horn check for our man there. But there we are. That's the front of the stadium diner. I'll if I can, I'll get inside and take some photographs, but it's probably all online anyway. But basically up there, the traffic you can see there, that's the A1. You have some motorway services the other side, the roundabout there, which are obviously not secure, overpriced, full of potholes. And you have the dedicated truck stop here, which I would always recommend. I am no fan at all of motorway services. They do nothing for truck drivers, nothing at all. They're not secure, they're not safe, they're dirty. Abysmal, absolute abysmal, and they don't deserve any truck driver's business. We've all parked in them, we may all have to park in them again, but for me personally, it will always be last option, always. You know, and to be perfectly honest, while we're on it, I would put the RHA and the FTA in that bracket as well. I don't think I've ever benefited from anything that the RHA or FTA have ever done. So that's subjects we'll be moving on to in the coming weeks, months. You know, I certainly have a few questions, points, concerns I'd like to put to the RHA. I don't suppose I'll ever get them answered. I don't suppose I'll ever get the chance to ask face to face. But for whatever reason, if that day ever arises, I'll certainly grab it with both hands. You know, as everyone's well aware of the driver shortage, as we mentioned in the last video. I think my first question would be what the RHA and FTA have ever done to resolve that issue. But anyway, back to trucks and longs the leads. As a truck spotter, they've always been a delight, because they've always got the fleet number up above the windscreen. Possibly had them on the trailers at some point even. Flashlights heading past. Any fuels? Yeah. Off he goes on his merry way. So the lighting is starting to become a little bit of a concern. So I think what I'm going to do is again in a minute change location and try and get some better light. But, in the meantime, here's Another turners. That's a refrigerated container he's got in the back. He's got, down here the gen set running. So the gen set is basically a detachable generator, and when you get the container on the back, generally you would get a generator set lifted on to power the fridge, and because obviously the skeletal trailers or skellies, generally they don't have any power with them. They're just a skeleton frame. So the refrigerated trailers, the refrigerated containers, need to source their power from somewhere, so you have a genset. It's a nice MEN from Aztec. Again, the monitor's very, very dark for me. Hopefully you can see that. We're losing a bit of battery on the battery pack as well, so we'll only probably be going for another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll have to call it a day. Possibly even less than that if the battery dies. But I think what I'll do, whilst we have the chance, just to excuse the picture, I'll zoom out. Let's have a bit of these lads coming up. Sticks, obviously, again, done a touch and go. A golf cart in the background, I don't know what that's all about. But I think we will take this opportunity now to get across the road and change position. Just gonna catch this one coming out. Just a moorhouse. Huddersfield. Yeah, right. JMS, a Doncaster with a Moffat Mountie on the back. Off they go. Okay, so just bear with me a second. I'm basically just trying to fold the tripod up a little bit, make it easier to carry about. And let's zoom out and make it a little bit less shaky, hopefully for everyone. And never done this before, so we'll do a bit of live walkabout, photographing everybody. There we are, Davey gets it eventually. Yeah, let's have a look round this Sure Freight truck while we're here. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, I like that. That's a Bonnie truck. Very nice. So I've been sort of facing the wrong way really, but it was it was a fairly decent location, but really in terms of lighting it wasn't the best. So let's get ourselves turned round. So I think really this is probably the angle we should have had, but there we are. It's obviously a lot better lighting, and looks a bit more like the park, doesn't it? Your energy. That's everybody's concern at the moment, energy prices. I have noticed a couple of, I wouldn't say start-up business, I think there's businesses that have been going a while, but let's just say I think if you're in the business of selling logs and kindling for the old gas stoves, I think you're probably doing rather well at the minute. Mr. Turner there fueling up, as I say here at the A1 truck stop, or A1 diner, truck stop, the whole complex here. Key Fuels and UK Fuels, which I think most UK hauliers are familiar with those. Other brands are available, Certus, whatever else of course. There's one of, I think that's one of Richard Cobley's come out. With a truck wash, and there's Mr. Welch. So I'm not so sure at this position, camera position, that we capture everything we want to see, but it's probably good enough for now. As I say, we're losing the battery. I need to find another battery source that works with our hardware here. But it's a learning curve. Gives us a good opportunity though to look at hardware. Haulages, MEN and tanker there. Looks well in the rain, in the sun, in the rain. I don't want to be wishing rain, but yeah, it looks well. But anyone abroad that wants to know the UK scene, that would probably sum it up, you know. A lot of white trucks. An awful lot of white trucks now. And we certainly appreciate a nice livery when we see one now, because a lot of them seem to have disappeared. When you look in the old photographs from years ago, there was loads of iconic fleets. recognisable with their liveries, and a lot of them seem to have disappeared. So there's still some new ones appear every now and then, but a lot of guys, especially a lot of the big fridge fleets, I mean, I can hardly think of a supermarket fleet with an attractive livery. And yet when you go abroad, Holland, Belgium come to mind, maybe other countries as well, but certainly Holland and Belgium would be good examples. The supermarkets, a lot of them have got nice liveries. So there's Kalina, or Starboard as it was. I mean, on the tractor unit, that's the only evidence now. Name and the fleet number. It's another one that's been swallowed up into the Kalina empire. Some would say good, others would say otherwise. But, fair play to him. He's managing to back her in blind. There's probably another easier option, another way, but he's got her in there. So it's all good. It's all good. So missed that one coming in, but it's a Grampian flatbed on a plain Volvo, so it could be a subby or maybe a Volvo that just hasn't been liveried up. I don't know. If you know, drop us a message. So whilst it's gone a little bit quiet, again, if you're watching and you've enjoyed what we've had on offer, we'd certainly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. You will get notified of upcoming videos, live streams, anything else that's going on, but you won't be bombarded. And it's free, so it helps support the channel. It costs you nothing, and it's a great way of telling us you appreciate what we're doing. So we'd really appreciate that. You know, something crazy like 70%, 80% of people that watch videos don't subscribe, and you know, it's literally just clicking that button. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't commit you to anything. You're not going to get bombarded. It supports us. I'm not quite sure how it all works. It's all algorithms and one thing or another, way beyond me, but I know as a channel we are measured on lots of things. And one of the easiest things you can do to support us is to subscribe. But obviously we enjoy all the comments and interaction. We've got the Facebook page, which is building up a big following. Each night we're getting more and more interaction, and it's great. we all contribute, share information, stories, and enjoy the hobby in the world of trucking. It's taken a bit of battering recently. Last few years, you know, everyone talks about the golden years being the 80s, 70s. When I started driving, late 80s, 90s, you know, drivers then that were retiring were telling me the golden years were the 60s. So, you know, it is what it is. We can only live in the current, and you know, it's about time. It's about time the industry was valued, respected, and appreciated for what it is. There's a lot of people within the industry at its own worst problems, but I think there's far more good people in the industry, and through certainly the last 10 years, a lot of people have had a battering. In the last 4 years, you know, how some people have kept going basically is just admirable. It really is. So as I said in the last live stream, the whole point of the channel is to promote the industry. You know, we're truck enthusiasts, transport enthusiasts really. If you look in the channel, you'll see some videos of other modes of transport. Predominantly stick to trucks, but you know, if it's transport, you know, I'm pretty much interested. I think it just fascinates me how things move, especially aeroplanes. You look at the size of some of these aeroplanes and wonder how they stay in the air. So, you know, I wouldn't say I know any of the. I couldn't identify any planes or have any in-depth knowledge, but I enjoy seeing them, and I can appreciate the skill in keeping them up there and getting them up there. The skill set might be a bit different for a truck driver, but you know, someone that's been driving 30 odd years, I still appreciate the effort and the skills involved in doing it right. You see plenty of examples all over social networks about when people get it wrong, but you know, the vast majority of truck movements in the UK, everything goes well, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all, especially in built-up cities. Anyone involved in driving a truck will confirm that most cities, they don't want trucks in there. They want the goods, but they don't want the trucks in there, and they don't make it easy. In fact, they actively go out their way to make it difficult and awkward. So there we are, we'll leave that one on the pumps, and see, we've got some lights flashing here. I'm not exactly sure how long we've been streaming. I guess it's off the top of my head, probably somewhere just short of an hour maybe. So I think we'll probably wrap this one up for the day, and thank you everyone for viewing, anyone that's dropped a message. And yeah, basically keep an eye on our Facebook page, Enterkin Media on Facebook. Anyone that's into collecting photographs, we have a web store, enterkinmedia.com. We haven't even scratched the surface putting photos on there. To be honest, we're struggling to get a website to list even half our stock. We've got an awful lot of photos and bits and pieces that go back decades. So if you notice there, our foreign friends gone out the road on the wrong side of the road, which has caused a little bit of confusion, but we've all done it. I'm not slating them for it. It could have been worse. You could have made that mistake out on the other road and it would have been not so pretty. But anyway, getting back to it, folks, we're going to wrap this up. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. We really, really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you on the next live stream. There'll be a video put up over the weekend that we shot here earlier, and there's some great material on that. We were lucky with some of the trucks that come through. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Until then, thanks everyone.